The episode begins with the Jellystone residents purchasing Shazam's first kiss ice cream. Jabberjaw and Loopy-de-Loop purchase the first kiss ice cream, thus causing Loopy to remember her first kiss with Muttley from Wacky Racers. But Jabberjaw cries as she cannot remember her first kiss since she didn't have one at all. Despite being 3 hours late for work, Loopy-de-Loop tells Jabber that they'll find her first kiss. But when they examine Peterpotamus and Doggy Daddy as first kiss candidates, they don't fit the criteria. As Jabberjaw was saying her first kiss has to be perfect, her ice cream gets stolen by Clunk from Wacky Racers, so she calls for help, and El Kabong shows up to bonk the thief. El Kabong returns the ice cream to Jabberjaw as she dreams of a future with him. Though I believe Jaws, King Shark, and the Street Sharks would be much better options. Kabong leaves after hearing someone else call for help, and Jabberjaw plans to earn her love interest's kiss by putting herself in danger. Sadly, each time Jabberjaw is rescued from danger, El Kabong gets kissed or kisses someone else. Loopy-de-Loop arrives to tell Jabber that she's not using enough danger and she has to become Lady Danger. So Loopy made Jabber a costume that she puts on and becomes the villain Lady Danger, as seen in one of the previous episodes, Jelly Wrestle Rumble. Jabberjaw, now Lady Danger, has trouble coming up with an evil plan that people can relate to. But thanks to Magilla Gorilla, Lady Danger has the idea to steal everyone's milk, so she steals said milk with a lot of cool, unique looking gadgets before suspending it in a saucer above town. After announcing that she took all the milk, Lady Danger gets confronted by El Kabong before they both get into a romantic fight that ends with Lady Danger giving El Kabong a kiss. Finally getting what she wanted, Lady Danger falls with love into the milk, which causes said milk to spill all over town. The next day, Jabberjaw is happy that she got to kiss El Kabong, but when Loopy asks who's her next kiss going to be, Shazam walks in with his big attractive pecs asking for a genie vest, and Jabberjaw immediately falls in love with him. The episode's last scene has El Kabong saying he'll find Lady Danger, his love, but he slips and falls on bad smelly milk. The end. The episode begins with a long montage of parents being too tired to play with their kids, with Doggy Daddy saying 1 second, causing Augie Doggy to look very horrified with scary eyes. At the fountain of Jellystone, the 3 kids complain about how adults these days no longer have time for them. They try asking Yogi to play with them, but he doesn't. They try asking Jabberjaw and Loopy-de-Loop, but they don't. And Hardy Har Har and Lippy the Lion offer to play with them, but creeped out, the kids ask them to leave. Next, Snagglepuss comes to tell the kids that they have amazing skin at their age while he has wrinkly skin, wishing he can turn back time. And that gives Augie Doggy an idea. We cut to the Jellystone Clock Tower where Augie Doggy had a plan to turn back time so adults can become kids who can play with them. After Augie, Shag, and Yankee reverse time, which somehow doesn't affect them, they walk outside to meet the adults that have been turned into kids, but instead, they see the adults have been turned into babies. At first, the three kids love the company of the babies and adore it. But when Augie Doggy saves her baby dad from using a chainsaw, the babies cry and run away. So Shag, Yankee, and Augie go after the babies to protect them. Having enough of the babies, the three kids go to the clock tower to turn them back into adults, but the entrance was blocked, so Shag tries to make a baby tower before he gets stopped by a baby Snagglepuss who loves his young skin and doesn't want to become an adult again. Baby Snagglepuss is assisted by Hardy and Lippy, who are both now young, strong 70-year-olds who don't want to become old people again. By Baby Snag's command, Lippy and Hardy try to destroy the clock tower permanently. Thanks to her baby dad, Augie Doggy calls the babies over to play, and the babies attack Hardy and Lippy with love, with diapers, and with loud noises. Lippy and Hardy use their hearing aids to turn off the noise, but they get defeated when Grape Ape plays patty cake with them, causing them to be launched into the wood that's blocking the clock tower. Baby Snagglepuss tries to stop the kids, but Augie, Shag, and Yankee run him over before they throw time back forward. They spin time so far that the Jellystone residents became old, and the kids spin time backward too much that it led the Jellystone residents to become teenagers. After a third attempt to spin time, the Jellystone residents become their 1960s Hanna-Barbera limited animation art style incarnations. Time was spun so much that the clock tower is starting to fall apart. So the kids spin the clock one last time before the tower collapses and they come out perfectly safe. Fortunately, the parents are back to their right ages as they reconcile with their children. Meanwhile, all other Jellystone residents are back to their rightful ages, and Augie Daddy offers to play all day and all night with his daughter, but Augie Doggy says she has enough playing for today and that she wants to go home and go to bed. The episode's last scene has everybody walking home, but Yogi Bear is still stuck in his old Hanna-Barbera limited animation art style. Yogi calls for help as everybody ignores him, and he cries as he feels so much pain from being a limited animation character. The end. The episode begins with the sun rising and Cindy Bear being happy that it's her first free Saturday in forever. Cindy tries calling Yogi and Boo Boo to hang out with them, but they were practicing a dance routine, so she decides to look around Jellystone for a friend, but others were either busy or hanging out with their own friend. So Cindy decides to go home and sulk. Back at her apartment building, Cindy paints a portrait of herself being sad before she sings a number about wanting a friend, but she gets interrupted by a spaceship crashing through her roof. The alien Bleep comes out of the spaceship, and it seems like he wants to hang out with Cindy, but she realizes that giving Bleep spicy things will turn him crazy, so she gives him milk to make him calm once more. After bringing out mild wings and deciding it's time to have fun, both Cindy and Bleep have fun together in a montage bothering some Jellystone residents. After having a great time, Cindy becomes convinced that everybody needs a Bleep, leading her to splice Bleep's DNA to create more Bleeps before delivering them like Santa Claus, leaving a note that specifically says not to feed the Bleeps spicy food. The next day, we cut to a montage of the Jellystone residents being bothered and infuriated by the Bleeps. But despite this, Cindy was convinced that they love the Bleeps. In the next scene, Mayor Huckleberry Hound holds a town meeting to discuss how to get rid of the Bleeps that everybody hates. Yogi Bear became so hungry that he yells that everybody must eat them, running and grabbing the hot sauce hose before spraying them with spicy hot sauce, turning the Bleeps evil. The evil Bleeps go on a rampage across town as some citizens come to blame Cindy for what's happening. Yogi says somebody sprayed the Bleeps with hot sauce, and with confidence, Cindy says she scienced them in and she'll science them out. Putting on a milk suit she made, Cindy blasts the Bleeps with milk and turns them back to normal, but there was so much spice that the Bleeps returned to evil. Realizing the Milky Way is the only way to cure the Bleeps, Cindy milk blasts the launch button before milk blasting the evil Bleeps inside the ship. The real Bleep decides to sacrifice himself to save Cindy, leading the two friends to bid each other farewell before Bleep and the evil Bleeps get launched into space, with the Jellystone citizens cheering. Yogi promises a sad Cindy that from now on, the Jellystone residents will include her in all their activities, subsequently saying that the Bleeps are probably doing great in space. The episode's last scene has us cut outside in the Milky Way galaxy as a ship flies by. Inside, Space Ghost from Space Ghost Coast to Coast was flying his ship and singing, until Bleep's spaceship crashes inside and it floods Space Ghost's ship with the now reformed Bleeps. Before the episode faded to black, a Bleep says bleep. The end. The episode begins with Yogi and Boo Boo both watching their old VHS home movies. Yogi finds a blue VHS tape he doesn't remember, and it shows Yogi trying to be a rock star during his adolescent years. Watching that tape inspired Yogi to become cool again by starting a band, calling it Yogi's Midlife Crisis thanks to what Boo Boo says. Later, Yogi opens band auditions at a garage, and many Jellystone citizens try out until the ones who were selected were Doggy Daddy, Captain Caveman, and Chopper. At Yogi's command, the band quartet starts playing bad music, but it catches the ears of Squiddly Diddly, prompting her to run to the garage to stop the bad music. Squiddly says they can play good music with the proper training, teaching some band members how to play their instruments correctly before teaching Yogi how to command the band with singing. Yogi tells Squiddly that she can be the band's backup singer right before the band scatters when the garage owner returns home. At the Jellystone Banquet Hall, Lansy was having a birthday party and Yogi's Midlife Crisis is about to play music. During the performance, Yogi became so jealous of Squiddly's singing that he tried singing very hard but causes Lansy to cry. Yogi blames Squiddly Diddly for what he did even though it was his decision and he was motivated by jealousy before he quits the band. A sad Yogi returns home as Boo Boo tries to cheer him up with late-night TV. Squiddly and her new band is seen on TV without Yogi, and that drives him mad on a personal level. As revenge, Yogi calls on live TV wearing a disguise and ranting about Squiddly before revealing himself, saying that he is a solo artist from now on. Snagglepuss says this dispute can only be settled with a battle of the bands before we cut to a concert at Jellystone later that night. Before going on stage, Yogi gives Boo Boo a revenge button that he must press when he hears the word signal. Snagglepuss demands a fair fight before the battle begins, followed by Yogi and Squidly's band all making music until Yogi breaks a saxophone that Squidly was playing. That causes the two musicians to take or destroy each other's instruments before arguing on stage. As a quick side note, there is an animation error where Loopy-de-Loop says "this is terrible," but her mouth didn't move when she said "this is." The crowd boos at the arguing, causing Yogi and Squidly to apologize to each other in song form before the band plays and sings as one once more. Being happy that he fulfilled his rockstar dreams, Yogi calls all the other musicians up, creating an all-star encore finale as everyone in the crowd cheers. When Yogi calls the performance a smash hit single, Boo Boo thought he said smash hit signal and presses the button. Pressing the button causes a cannon to launch a bunch of snakes onto all the singers and instrument players, causing them to panic while the stage somehow also catches fire. The episode's last scene has the Jellystone citizens clapping while Jabberjaw says, "Now that's what I call rock and roll." The end. The episode begins at Mayor Huckleberry Hound's office. There, Huckleberry Hound was happy that there were 11 days without any disasters until Captain Caveman came in with a warning. Captain Caveman says today is the lunar eclipse in which the moon will eat the sun, and he demonstrates it with a simulation. Needing to get the fear out of their systems, Huckleberry Hound and Captain Caveman run and scream all day until night came. Afterwards, Huckleberry calls Jinx to assemble the 3 smartest citizens in Jellystone. Yogi Bear, Snagglepuss, and Augie Doggy are the 3 smartest Jellystone residents who are taken to the space station JASA. Huckleberry Hound explains the mission before the 3 Jellystone residents go on a training montage, failing at first but succeeding over time. After the training montage, Yogi, Augie, and Snagglepuss all get into the rocket before being blasted into outer space. When they arrived, the astronauts tried everything they can to stop the moon, but their efforts are futile as nothing works. With the spaceship running out of fuel, Captain Caveman tells the astronauts to come back, but a brave Augie Doggy had an idea to use up all the fuel to push the moon away from the sun. Using up all the fuel, the rocket pushes the moon away from the sun, and everybody celebrates the space mission's success. The victory was short-lived when the moon reveals that it has a face like the moon from The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. The moon asks why they did that, and Augie says they were trying to stop her from eating the sun. Bewildered by what she heard, the moon says she would never eat the sun because he is her boyfriend, but she is now sad that she can't kiss him. The astronauts feel bad for what they did, but Augie Doggy realized they were given the greatest mission of all, a mission of true love. Augie Doggy, Snagglepuss, and Yogi all build a space road before pushing the moon towards the sun. After the moon reached the sun, they both smooch and create the lunar eclipse. Everybody back at Jellystone celebrates. Sadly, their eyes catch fire as they look at the eclipse. The episode's last shot has a message that tells us not to look at eclipses because they can cause blindness and because they really hurt. The end. Round of applause for the new longest video on my channel and for having 5 new episode recaps in one. Anyway, thank you for watching, subscribe and more importantly share the channel with the entire world for more episode recaps of cartoons. I'm Jacob Kasarjan, and I'll see you later. See ya.